swear you don't know if you're girl pretty or guy pretty, but just ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, what shape are your eyes? Because what I noticed that the girlies who tend to have more upturned eyes, they tend to be more boy pretty. And the girlies with the downturned eyes, y'all are more girl pretty. Number 2, what is people's first impression of you? Because if you are a boy pretty, a lot of girls will say, oh, I felt so intimidated by you. I thought you were gonna be a bit.
Am I the only one who thinks the opposite? I think I'm more like boy pretty based on who I get like compliments from, and I have a friend that is like more like girl pretty, and trust me, compliments coming from girls
pretty. But if people are saying, oh, she's so sweet, oh, she's so cute, they're probably girl pretty. Last but not least, how do you do your makeup? I feel like if you're more...
Has anyone else been seeing this trend of girl pretty versus boy pretty? Because like now I'm starting to see what you guys are talking about and I can't stop thinking about it.
Now, I consider myself more girl pretty, but in the past, I've definitely had my fair share of like guys, you know, like coming up to me and speaking to me and showing interest in me. And I've experienced the jealous chitter chatter before. And they're just like little snarky comments like, oh my gosh, why are they always talking to her?
Hey guys, it's Julie here. Welcome to the channel. If you click this video, it's because you've probably been hearing a lot about the boy pretty and girl pretty talks on TikTok or other social media apps. But if this is your first time hearing those terms, we're going to have them explained in this video. We're going to be delving into the phenomenon that has taken TikTok by storm and discuss what it means to be either, as well as who fits into this mold, and even how you can achieve either of these looks. Some may call this a collective societal brain rot, further intensified by endless social media scrolling and a general refusal to put fingertips upon greenery. In other words, touch grass. I don't disagree, but then I find this brain rotting activity quite entertaining, and I will be indulging in it by further dissecting what it means to be boy pretty and girl pretty. So if you want to go on this ride with me, then hang on tight. Okay, so boy pretty and girl pretty, I feel, are oversimplified ways of alluding to what males find attractive versus what women generally gravitate towards. Both looks cater to either the male gaze or the female gaze. A woman can either embody the beauty that holds the female gaze, which is what will be called girl pretty going forward, or the beauty that captivates the male gaze, which is what will be referred to as boy pretty going forward. Feel those brain cells shrinking yet? This is not to say that a girl that is girl pretty cannot be attractive to men, or that boy pretty girls are only attractive to males. No, far from it. These different modes of beauty are just what generally call out different types of reactions from either gender population. Does that make sense? These girls are still attractive, period. They fit into the beauty standard at the end of the day, and they have the ability to attract either or both genders. But on a more general scale, something about them makes a particular gender more drawn to them, and it's that something we're going to dissect in this video. If you're curious to know which one you are perceived as, where you fit in, or even how to achieve either of these beauty modes, then keep watching. Because yes, it is possible to adorn yourself to become either of these. Some girls are naturals, meaning they are born that way or they have that aura. Some learn it, some even move from one end of the spectrum to the other, either purposefully or subconsciously. Some sit right in the sweet spots of both. Some are lucky enough to effortlessly embody both and have the ability to switch seamlessly. Well, depending on what you define luck as and what your priorities and goals in life are. Now, boy pretty is what I find most girls want to gravitate towards. The reason is because, well, ultimately it's a man's world. We are governed by patriarchal laws. So inadvertently, the male gaze is the general public gaze. The female gaze is more forgiving, more flexible. You can find girls of almost any body types, from fit to chubby to short to tall. But the male gaze is more set in stone. Essentially, girl pretty is cute and boy pretty is sexy. The former can also take adjectives such as charming, elegant, stylish, intriguing, fashionable, and the latter fits more with adjectives such as hot, intense, disarming, sultry, seductive. You may hear girls say something like, oh, I've always been talked about behind my back by other girls, so I guess that makes me boy pretty. But I would like to correct the notion that girl pretty or female gaze girls don't get any male attention. That's simply not true, and you're mistaking girl pretty for ugly. Like I said, these two modes of attraction fit in with the beauty standards. It's just some qualities about them that make them more attractive to either males or females. The reason girls who get a lot of male attention usually have experiences of being hated or disliked by other girls is because of a thing called mate competition. It's an issue that cuts across gender and even species. Girls, straight girls, desire to be attractive to the gender they are attracted to. They may display annoyance or irritation when in company of girls who seem to easily attract men. It's the same way men couldn't stand the hype about why many girls liked Ryan Gosling or Justin Bieber back in the day, or BTS or Idris Elba, or that boy in your school that all the girls wanted. They either wanted to be his disciple or found girls who liked him to be corny and cringe. That's female gaze. Mate competition, a feeling of annoyance or jealousy displayed by one and directed towards the object of a potential mate's attraction. This can happen even if they don't want that guy or girl. I'll give examples of either modes of beauty with different celebrities or public figures because that's how I feel like I can accurately describe what I mean and can give clear imagery of what I'm talking about. This is not to say that the pretty girls are not or cannot be sexy or attractive to men, but their manner of drawing attraction is more soft. Think of the two contrasts as an imagery of silk versus leather. These two materials can both be highly seductive, but with completely different sensations and presentations. One is soft, lush, comforting, warm. One has hard angles. It promises danger, it's intoxicating, it gives thrill. And men? The undertones of danger, unpredictability, and thrill is like a spark to their dry bushes. Absolutely no pun intended. Girl pretty can also be attractive to men in that it invokes the feeling of warmth, charm, safety, and softness. The images of silk or lace versus leather is what I want you to think of when I say girl pretty versus boy pretty. So, is it starting to dawn on you which part of the spectrum you possibly fit in? Now let's dive into the different ways boy pretty and girl pretty attributes can manifest in a woman. Basic identifiers for boy pretty and girl pretty girls. A common girl pretty feature is a round or oval face. They hold most of their appeal in the lower halves of their face. This means their cheeks, lips, their smile. A pretty girl may be slim and dainty or short and cheerful. She may be tall and elegant or chubby and poised. Personality-wise, pretty girls rely a good deal on their charisma and quirks to further amp up their charm and attractiveness. She will make you laugh and intrigue you. For comparing a pretty girl to an animal, you can see the aura of a bunny or a swan or a butterfly in pretty girls. Boy pretty girls typically have a more angular or chiseled face. Their cheekbones or jawline have a sharp plane to it that gives them a somewhat intimidating look.
There is a kind of intimidating thing of like...
But that's on you. That's not on me.
They hold most of their appeal in their eyes. It's probably the first thing you will see when you look at their face. 80% of their sexiness comes from their gaze. A boy pretty girl will make you sweat and a little unsure of whether to speak or not. They are typically tall or long-limbed. If you're comparing their aura to those of animals, they give off the aura of a cat, a jaguar, or a fox. Now, the appeal is not wholly dependent on these women's way of dressing or looks even, but something innate. It's how they talk, how they walk, their humor, every bite of it. It's in the strange familiarity and ease of her presence. It's the skip in her walk and the crack of her laugh and her soft grace and the colors of her world that makes a pretty girl. It's the slow upward tilt of her lips and the drawl of her voice. It's the mystery and the excitement creeping up on you like vine that makes a boy pretty girl. For fear of running the risk of sounding like a Wattpad writer, let's move on. Like I said earlier, the female gaze is more forgiving and flexible. This is not to be mistaken with pretentious. Surprisingly enough, this frustrates men. You may find one scratching his head, pulling out his hair in frustration when a league of women camp out in a girl's comment section telling her how pretty she is, and they go, but she's mid. I don't get it. What you don't get is that you, as a man, may not see that to the females and the male gaze, and I mean the male gaze. This girl is mother. But to you, she isn't all that. To us, she's going on our Pinterest boards. We're DMing our stylists to stay on the alert for our triumphant return. Okay? The girlies flock to the girl pretty girls. Most of the compliments they get are from other women. They are most likely to be your most sought after influencers. They are the it girls. Their sense of style and fashion are more catered to women. It's also more achievable. Girl pretty is the default type of pretty for girls. It is universal, diverse. Which of these popular faces fall under either category? Now that we've gone over what differentiates one mode of beauty from the other, let's try to sift through these celebrities and identify if they most likely attract the female gaze or the male gaze. When we're talking boy pretty, off the top of my head, the first celebrity that comes to mind is this lady right here. Megan is undeniably beautiful. Like most boy pretty girls, she holds most of her appeal in her eyes. She has an alluring stare and intense eyes, and that aura manages to shine through even through her roles and infect the characters she plays on screen. Megan in the early 2000s was something else. Another celebrity that comes to mind is Thames. Now, Thames embodies that thrill and promised danger of the boy pretty girl that I mentioned earlier. Her eyes are smoldering and she doesn't even have to try to exude such cautious degree of sexiness. It doesn't matter what she has on, mind you. It has little to nothing to do with her body type. You could literally just see a picture of her face and she manages to make your throat dry. She has a laid-back confidence and command about her that I associate with the one and only bad girl Riri. Now, from the moment Rihanna set foot in the spotlight, she has exuded undeniable animal magnetism. She has the grace of molten lava. If you can never put a finger on why you're so attractive to her, it's the aura. Angelina Jolie was the sex symbol of the early 2000s for a reason. From her chiseled jawline to full lips to self-assured smile, her quiet confidence is so loud and she can never not be hot. Halle Berry and Gal Gadot are two, did I say that name right? They are two women I also consider to be boy pretty. They have sharp features, they are long-limbed and sensual. For girl pretty girls, I think a good example would be Halle Bailey. She has very airy, delectable beauty about her. Like I said, the bottom half of a girl pretty girl's face holds most of the attraction. Her smile, her cheeks, also her charisma. She makes you think of flowers and birds and bright pastel colors. Her features are softer, her eyes are warmer. Ariana Grande also fits right in here. She has an airy, light appeal about her. One thing about the girl pretty girls is that they usually have many girls looking to emulate. Ariana is that one celebrity that had a whole army of impersonators copying her style, aesthetic, and entire branding. Another celebrity that comes to mind is Ira Star. She has the aura of a butterfly. She is sultry but sweet. You'd be more drawn to her lips than her eyes because she holds most of her appeal at the bottom part of her face. Now, when you compare her to Tyler, who is boy pretty, Tyler holds most of her appeal in her eyes. Her features are more angular, she's quite sultry, and she has intense eyes. There's Halle Bailey's sister, Chloe Bailey. She embodies the girl pretty more than the boy pretty. She has soft, rounded features. She holds most of her appeal in her lips. She usually looks better when she's smiling. She does come off a bit forced or awkward when I feel she's trying to gravitate into the more boy pretty side. I think because of her body type, which is a bit on the taller and curvy side, they try to brand her as boy pretty. There is kind of a deliberate contraction between her and her sister to give off the lace versus leather appeal, but I feel like the boy pretty is more seductive, feline grace, but face-wise, she has more cherubic features, which makes it look unnatural. Soon enough, she may be able to move seamlessly from one end to the other. That being said, let's move on to the women who can seamlessly move from one mode to the other. Because like I said, being any pretty is not about the look 100% of the time. It's something within that pulls others to you. This is really serious business, guys. So sit up. It's a matter of excruciating importance. So, how do these women go from girl pretty to boy pretty? Same woman, different modes. Beyonce is a very beautiful woman, no doubt. Very appealing, but she very much gives girl pretty. Off stage, when she's not performing, she has more silk to her material than leather. She is more reserved, a bit shy, but when she's performing, she just transforms. I think that's why they came up with the Sasha Fierce persona. Sasha Fierce is, well, fierce. She's more leather material. Her face is contoured to perfection. It gives it a more angular face. When you look at her eye makeup, how they make her cheekbones pop, if you compare her to when she's Beyonce, you see that Beyonce holds most of her appeal in her lips and her smile, while Sasha's eyes are more a defining factor. There is a stark contrast. Even the way Sasha moves, she moves more sensually with the grace of a venomous snake. Another juxtaposition of the same person or character embodying both female and male gaze is Margot Robbie from when she played Harley Quinn and when she played Barbie. These are two sharp contrasts. Harley Quinn made you think of danger and a quick final prayer before you dove headfirst in. Her poise, her cadence, her style. The different eye color makeup makes you more drawn to her eyes than her lips. Her face is more angular and the makeup accentuates it. In Barbie, she's like a whole different person. The way her makeup is done, her voice, her charisma, she smiles more and this draws more attention to her lips. She is light, cute, airy, and caters more to the female gaze. Which is why I think some males with unwashed ass and dirty fingernails could sit on the internet and say, "Oh, Margot Robbie is mid." What changed was she went from boy pretty to girl pretty. So my favorite personal was how in Vampire Diaries, Nina Dobrev was able to portray Elena and Catherine as two polar opposite characters. Elena made you think silk. Catherine made you think leather. Catherine had more piercing eyes. She was very sultry, undeniably seductive. Her walk, voice, everything was different. Elena had a charm to her. She was soft, sweet, and more in tune with her emotions, which drew people to her. I think the actor flawlessly executed both characters. Nina Dobrev is a legend, okay? Lace versus leather. Many movies try to portray these two sides of femininity, and you can see it in different pairs of female characters. I'll be naming a few so you can easily recognize these traits. Jade and Tori from Victorious are a good example of the boy pretty and girl pretty phenomenon, or even Jade and Kat. Tokyo and Nairobi, Money Heist. Enid and Wednesday from Wednesday. Kaylin and Kara from Legend of the Seeker. I particularly like these two because of how well it's executed. Blair and Serena from Gossip Girl. If you look at the character of Blair, you think she'd be boy pretty. And I think that's how it was meant to be, but Leighton has a more girl pretty face. Her face is round, she has warm, dewy eyes, and her lips and cheeks hold most of her appeal. Also, the way she dresses is a chick magnet. She's an it girl and all the girlies want to learn from her. Serena, on the other hand, has more chiseled features. Her eyes are intense. She's lithe and long-limbed. She has a girl next door allure to her and is ultimately considered hot. Cassie and Maddie from Euphoria. How to transform into girl pretty or boy pretty. Being either type of pretty can manifest in different ways. Physical features. These are simply features you were born with. The only way to change them is a drastic lifestyle change or surgery. Makeup, mode of dressing or fashion, traits or attitude, scents and sensations tied to smell. When it comes to looks, you can be born looking a certain way, but there are ways you can physically transform yourself to look either way. If you're not planning on getting permanent face-altering surgery to fit into beauty standards that are really not that deep, most people will try using makeup and dressing modes to transform their looks. Girl pretty makeup typically has an overall appearance of rosy cheeks, dewy skin, glossy lips, highlighter, and glitter. It gives the face a soft, cute, feminine glow. You are more likely to get complimented by other women when wearing more colorful, fun, and creative makeup. Boy pretty makeup has more of a dark, seductive, smoky eye, sharp contours, and darker lip stains. The eye makeup gives the eye a more upward tilt that makes them seem more open and or slanted. It's more conventional makeup that makes it look like you woke up looking like a siren. For mode of dressing, honestly, you can wear a sackcloth and be any of this pretty. It will shine through. But since we're talking of how to transform, let's look at it this way. If girl pretty mode of dressing was a season, it would be summer. It is cheerful and bright and pretty. It includes but isn't limited to items such as a flowy or frilly dress. They could be long or short, but most frilly or puffy dresses are usually described more as cute. Also, women pay more attention to colors. So, Colorful pieces of fabrics and clothes that frames the figure are considered girl pretty. I contrasted lace to leather at the beginning of this video, but lace is actually a type of fabric that tends to attract men. That's why it's used so much in lingerie. Dark or muted colors like black, deep plum, and on occasions red are seductive colors. Color can literally transform a clothing item. You can get the same dress in different colors and it will have different effects when you wear them. More form-fitting clothes are usually associated with the boy pretty aesthetic. Not so perfect hairdos, hair a little messy with loose tendrils hanging down and framing the face can also transform the face from cute to hot. Loose waves have a way of shaping the face to give it a more angular or chiseled look. This can be considered to be a boy pretty hairstyle. Scents associated with girl pretty girls are often sweet, flirty, very feminine. They may smell floral, fruity, like citrus or blooming roses, strawberries or vanilla. Maybe jasmine, like fresh spring water, something clean, fresh, sweet and divine. The scents associated with boy pretty girls are more musky, deep, a cocktail of male cologne and female essence. It's much stronger, darker. It may remind one of cedar wood and fresh wood, an undertone of spice and pine. Your attitude can transform you also from girl pretty to boy pretty. Though this one is more inbuilt, like tone of voice, but some basic traits of girl pretty girls are soft melodic voice, bigger smiles. They may glance down to break eye contact when the stare is becoming too intense. They may give off the idea that they are shy or demure or come off as coy. Boy pretty traits may include lower husky voice, smiling more with the eyes than lips. You probably will be the first to break off eye contact from a boy pretty girl. They are intense like that. But the overall aura is what brings either of these looks together. There are also certain women that tend to quote-unquote play both teams. When it comes to existing in the sweet spot in the middle, I think a celebrity that comes to mind is Hailey Bieber. If you look at her features, she's more on the lean, angular side, but then she has this bubblegum pop vibe to her. She also has this dainty or elegant demeanor. I mean that she easily switches from hot to cute and back again. So it's kind of hard to place her on either side. In conclusion, we all have the capacity to be or be attracted to either types of these beauties. We may also have a particular type that we find ourselves subconsciously drawn to. If you're unsure, go through your IG following and see what you're drawn to. It's of course no surprise that most men are drawn to boy pretty girls. It is surprising that buccal fat removal is a rising cosmetics procedure in the entertainment industry. Many celebrities will opt for surgeries to slim out their faces and get rid of the soft features. Even their makeup are geared towards angling and contouring features. The round cheeks and soft features, which people think are childish, are actually, like I said, cute features, which equals to girl pretty, which equals to not good enough in the industry. This is because in the industry, women are marketed more like product than people. Because the male gaze is everything in the industry, it makes it the most sought after. They say sex sells, and that's because the male gaze sells. So if you're seeing a stampede of celebrities trying to get rid of the soft, full look and go for more sharper, foxy looks, it's because they want to remain sellable to men, who are the major determiners for if you, as a woman in the industry, will remain profitable. Sidebar, some of the girls I spoke to while making this video seemed to be a bit defensive when told they were girl pretty. It's almost like they found it a bad thing, and I'm here to tell you it's not a bad thing, nor does it change anything about you. Like I said, this is brain rotting activity, but it does hold some scientific backing to it on which sex find attractive. Men are not unattracted to girls who are girl pretty. For instance, the girl pretty girls have an ultra feminine appeal to them that calls out the protective or possessive side of a man. He wants to pick you up, help you reach for something from the shelf, cuddle and things like that. And the boy pretty energy calls out a deep attraction from the male gaze that makes him seek to pursue or possess or admire. Like Jessie J said in that one song,
"See, anybody could be bad to you. You need a good girl to blow your mind."
Followed by Ariana countering by saying, anybody could be good to you, you need a bad girl to blow your mind. So I guess the question is, do you want a good girl or a bad girl to rock your world? I guess it depends on what you're looking for or what you're attracted to. Now, before I go, I will say, don't be one-dimensional enough to think that these physical traits are all there are to these two types of girls. Don't be naive enough to limit the girl pretty girl to being a goody two-shoes or too nice of a girl. And don't be dense enough to see the boy pretty girl as a hard ass or someone you can make lewd comments at. She can also be soft and vulnerable and warm, because these girls, not minding what part of the spectrum you fall under or what you look like, are humans just like everyone else, with their own complexities, challenges, fears, imperfections, and humanness. And that is the end of a brain rotting activity video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it answered some of your questions. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, let me know in the comment section, and tell me what part of the spectrum do you think you fall under. But yeah, I will leave you now with that. All right, bye.
You have a really sort of clean-cut, wholesome reputation, and then out there on the stage, you're a seductress.
Okay, thanks.